World War I was the first great war ever in this world, altogether. Because it was between two great camps, Triple Entente and the Triple Alliance. I can tell you, Otto von Bismarck, before his death, he was already telling his friend that one time in this world there would be a great war, but unfortunately I'll be dead. The war emerged when he was already dead. So before I analyze how nationalism caused the World War I, I'll tell you one Kasoma Farouk of Uganda quote, where we say, don't focus on the backbiters because they are at the back. Because they are the what? Focus on where you are going. Out together. Why are you focusing on the backbiters? They are at the back. Focus on where you are going. That is very intention, my friend. That is very what? If the backbiter is saying that they are telling me you have problems, you tell that backbiter it's okay. Sometimes it's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's okay not to be what? Not to be okay. It's okay. Don't worry. It's okay. So, in this game, we are going to analyze how nationalism caused the World War I. We are saying nationalism made the German to be more aggressive. To be more what? Because the Germans loved their country. They wanted to promote the greatness of a country called what? German. So it was the nationalism that made the Germans to form a triple alliance. Bismarck formed the triple what? Alliance. Which triple alliance later led to the formation of triple entente. Because when Bismarck was around, for him he could play countries and no country could rise up against him. But what happened? By this time I can say, Bismarck, for him he could play countries. But when he died, a younger man, Kaiser William II, could not manage this. He started threatening to attack countries. And even he said he wanted a place in the sun. Altogether. Now what happened? It was nationalism that caused the World War I. Because Bismarck formed the Triple Alliance. But for him he could play countries. But Kaiser William threatened the country called what? Britain. Britain also formed the Triple Entente to challenge the Triple Alliance. The question is, were these football teams or what? They had a mission. The mission was about fighting. So this finally caused the World War I. So we are saying nationalism made the German to be aggressive. That's why German ended up forming a triple alliance, which created a situation of war. Another one, we are saying it was nationalism that motivated the Serbia to unite all Slav people to fight against Austro-Hungary. By the way, one of the reasons why Serbia was confident, it knew that the members of Slav movement had nationalistic beliefs in their minds. They were going to side on the side of what? Serbia. That's why when Austro-Hungary gave a dangerous ultimatum to Serbia, Serbia refused to honor because it knew even it had Russia. It had Russia on its side. It had Russia on its what? On its side. That's why when Austro-Hungary declared war on Serbia, Russia supported which side? Serbia's what? Side. And of course, by this time, this led to World War I. Because when Russia supported Serbia, members of Triple Entente had to support Serbia. And of course, members of Triple Alliance had to support Austro-Hungary. and that led to World War I. So it was nationalism that made Serbia even not to honor the ultimatum, because it knew that it had the Serbs on its what? On its side. Another one, nationalism made Serbia to reject the third demand on Austro-Hungary's ultimatum. Let me tell you, Austro-Hungary was saying, you must let Austrian police to come into Serbia to see the culprits who were involved in the assassination of Franz Ferdinand and the wife, Sophie. It was nationalism that made the Serbs not to honor the ultimatum. Why? Because by this time, allowing Austrian police meant by this time that the independence of Serbia was going to be taken altogether. Of course, it was this nationalism that later led to World War I. Because when Serbia refused to honor the ultimatum, Austro-Hungary had to declare on what? On Serbia. And by this time, Serbia was supported by Triple Entente, Austro-Hungary by Triple Alliance. And this caused World War I. Another one, it was nationalism that made France to start a war of revenge against a country called Germany. Because you remember, after the Franco-Prussian War, we are saying, by this time after the Franco-Prussian War, Prussia of Germany took two territories from France, that is Alsace and Lorraine. So the French, because of their nationalism, they had to join the Triple Entente because they wanted to recover Alsace and Lorraine. And this finally caused the World War I. We are saying nationalism intensified the conflicts between the interests of various countries. We are saying by this time, conflicts arose because of nationalism. Germany wanted to control the whole of Europe. That is nationalism, greatness. And by this time, even Britain wanted to control the whole of what? The whole of Europe. So the nationalistic tendencies made Britain and Germany to conflict over supremacy. And this led to World War I. Why? Because as Germany had the Triple Alliance, Britain formed the Triple what? Entente. And this caused World War I. Another one, it encouraged Germany to develop its naval power. Mind you, by this time, Germany had so many enemies. Germany had to build naval power. Let me tell you, it was Germany that started the production of dreadnoughts. When a German produced a powerful gun, Britain wanted the more powerful. The question is, were they producing military equipment to be used as decorations on a wedding day or what? Of course, no. They wanted to fight. So it was nationalism that led to naval power of Germany, where Germany wanted to be greater than Britain in what? In militarism. And this made Britain to do the same, which led to arms race, which arms race caused the World War I. Competition over supremacy. Another one, we are saying it increased the demand for overseas territories and colonies. You remember at one time, Germany didn't have interest for colonies. Otto von Bismarck, a no colonial man, became a colonial man. This happened in the Berlin Conference. You remember, Germany entered the colonial race very late. But a man who entered the room late, that was Otto von Bismarck, is the one who called the meeting and told the powers to sit and share Africa. They started sharing Africa as if they were sharing a piece of cake. That's why in Berlin, Germany had to get colonies. Germany had to get what? Colonies, like Namibia, among others. So by this time, it was nationalism that made the countries conflict over what? Colonies. And this led to World War I. Because the major competition was between Germany and what? Britain, German and Britain were conflicting. Still, we are saying nationalism was a motivator for the assassination of Crown Prince Franz Ferdinand and the wife Sophie. Beautiful Sophie. By this time, we are realizing it was nationalism because the Serbs wanted to promote their greatness altogether. By this time, you remember they wanted to promote their greatness. They were conflicting with a country called what? Austro-Hungary. So by this time, it was because of nationalism that the Serbian, a 19-year-old boy prince, assassinated Franz Ferdinand and the wife Sophie. And after the assassination, it is this that caused the World War I. Because we are realizing Austro-Hungary had to tell Serbia to do what? To apologize. Serbia refused to do what? To apologize. And that caused the World War I.